So I hope you are able to see the screen. Today we will be discussing very few articles. The first one is about bad bank. So this all of you have seen. Now continuing the same, the most important articles in today's newspaper are related to budget or economy, right? So the first one, the most important announcement is bad bank. How bad bank will help the overall economy, or what is the need for bad bank? So there are few prelims questions there, like what is the importance of National Asset Reconstruction Company, right? And how does Debt Reconstruction Company Limited work? How do they differentiate? How do they differ from each other? What is the overall impact? That is one question. So, and apart from this, there is also a ongoing issue between India and Israel through the Pegasus deal. So recently we have celebrated 30 years of friendship or having embassy-based relations with Israel. Today, Indian Express broke a story of New York Times, which says that Pegasus deal is made by India way back in 2017. And obviously government of India will have a lot of answering to do. They might say it's a misguided propaganda or something. So we'll have to follow up on how this particular news item goes. Okay. So at the same time, in Hindu, there are few articles related to prelims. One is about electoral bonds. What are the provisions of electoral bonds, right? So, and then there is about judiciary, but for prelims purposes, not so important. We'll try to tackle the articles. So this is a judgment given by Supreme Court yesterday in relation to the assemblies. So assemblies cannot punish a member for more than the existing session. That is a major takeaway from this particular article. You cannot ban them from for ages indefinitely. That is not a good thing for democracy, and it is also unconstitutional. So the powers of the speaker, when they then they overreach their powers, the Supreme Court is forced to enter into the scenario. This article you can use in whether in Indian democracy. Is the Indian democracy working fine? Are all political parties misusing the assemblies and Lok Sabhas? So there is one more article in today's Hindu only in the Nation page where Supreme Court says that we are the oldest democracy in the world, right? We are the oldest democracy in the world, and we are also the largest democracy in the world. We are supposed to teach the world on how democracy works, but the assemblies or Lok Sabha or the parliaments have been converted into a slugfest, right? Actually, parties in power are very happy that there is a ruckus. Every time there is a assembly session, parliament session, if the opposition does not allow the government to function properly, okay, they are passing one or two bills here and there, they are happy with those bills, but at the same time they are also happy that they will not be asked tough questions. Okay, so smooth functioning of assemblies and parliament is very essential for democracy. Thanks to this hijacking behavior by opposition parties, okay, not allowing the houses to function well, they are not helping the cause of the democracy. That is a major takeaway that you have to remember. Next. Article 2, this is also for IR, soft power. Indian government is having a lot of important things. Especially, we are not having a proper dialogue with the Pakistan. So here, if we open up this pilgrim-based soft power P2P linkages, okay, with obvious security measures and protocols, I think that this will help improve the P2P relations between India and Pakistan. That is a major takeaway. So this is an opportunity for soft power. We have seen the success of Kartarpur corridor. Because Indian partition have a lot of baggage, a lot of people here and there have linkages, but they are not having a proper P2P platform. So this might promote the relation between India and Pakistan in a positive direction. But again, adequate security measures and all those things will also be taken by the Indian government. Hmm. So not going into that particular article, we all know what that article is trying to say. That article is simply saying that Indian democracy is not functioning well because of electoral bonds. Judiciary is also complacent in that thing. Judiciary is sitting on that case from last so many years. It's high time that judiciary actively participate in dealing with that particular case, because in democracy the cornerstone lies in transparency and accountability, and every citizen of the country has a right to know what kind of uh, you know people are coming into power, how they are coming into power, right? So time and again civil society, ADR, Association for Democratic Reforms, have tried to participate and bring changes in the electoral process. Okay, so electoral bonds are brought in as a tool to fight the electoral funding, but they have become an institution of their own. Tons and tons of prelims questions are possible from electoral bonds. We will try to see them line by line. So they are non-interest bearing bonds. So prelims questions is, are electoral bonds interest-based bonds? Do political parties or individuals get uh, any interest? No. There are also bearer bonds. Bearer bonds. That means whosoever is having the bond is technically considered as the owner of that particular bond. And next important point is in the denominations of thousands to 1 crore rupees, in the multiples of 1000 to 1 crore rupees. So people have to have KYC, right? Cash is not at all used in the entire process. They don't encourage cash, and also in a dedicated bank accounts only. Hmm. So again, this is one more prelims question. Individuals, Hindu undivided families, companies, firms, associations, bodies of individuals, agencies. So any entity more or less that is created within the boundary of India is having a right to purchase the electoral bonds. That is a major prelims question there. HUF families, companies, firms. So it's not that only citizens, sorry, only individuals have the right. Even companies can purchase. Why this is important, we will see in the next few minutes. Next, one more prelims question. Not all political parties are eligible for electoral bonds. Only political parties which are registered under Representation of People's Act, as you can see, and also 1% of the overall votes polled. So only when, at least if you have 1% of the votes polled, you are eligible for electoral bond scheme. What percentage of votes are does a political party need in assemblies, state parties? You remember Lakshmik on that particular chapter, right? Okay, so the 2% or 4%. Is SBI a DCIB? Do you remember what is a DCIB? Domestically systemic important banks. Okay, next, this is where the problem comes in. The name of the donor is kept confidential. SBI will know, but it won't be disclosed publicly. Okay, now the bond is valid for 15 days. If a political party fails to encash the bond in 15 days, it will be transferred to PM relief fund. So this is also a potential prelims question. What will happen to electoral bonds if the bonds are not redeemed within 15 days? They are sent to PM relief fund. Okay, so very basic details. You don't have to worry about technicalities, but it's highly recommended that you remember such basic points. Now, also continuation of the same. Now, even foreign companies are eligible for donating to the political parties. So sorry. Okay. Yeah. A party can also receive funds from corporates, right? So that is what the article is trying to say. Now, political parties, corporates, and let's say IAS officers. Okay, this is called as unholy nexus, crony capitalism, so on and so forth. Okay, so that means if a particular company is dedicatedly giving money to a political party, there may be a quid pro quo. Okay, they might be exchanging some benefits. The ordinary citizen may not know exactly how much money is given by a particular particular company to a particular party, and what is the immediate outcome that this company have got. Okay, imagine XYZ company gave to ABC party. Okay, XYZ will tell that ABC I have given certain amount of money. ABC will also know that yes, I have received this much amount of money, but ordinary people won't know. So if some quid pro quo happens, okay, that is not good for democracy, right? So that is something that you need to keep in the mind. Now, is electoral bonds that bad? We'll see some issues with the electoral bonds. Association for Democratic Reforms recently brought out a report of all the local political parties or regional parties. So 55% of the donations received by the regional parties are from unknown sources. That is a big thing that you need to remember. It is from unknown sources. 55% of their entire income is from unknown sources. Okay. At the same time, also remember the amount is only 800 crores. Okay. So even if you take BJP have gained a lot because of electoral bond scheme. It is the single largest beneficiary of electoral bond scheme. Again, here we are not targeting BJP. What we are trying to tell you is any party in power will have more donors. Obviously, you are in power. Everybody wants to be your best friend. Everybody wants to get some things done by you. So they will donate you. So if tomorrow BJP, Aam Aadmi Party or any party comes into the power, they will obviously receive more amount of money. So the problem here, you have to think very smartly is, we are talking about peanuts. That means BJP received 3,000 crores. Regional parties have 800 crores. Hardly combinedly, we are discussing about 3,500 crores. But everybody knows on an average in a general election year, India spends anywhere up to 60 to 70,000 crores. 70,000 crores. That's not a small amount of money, right? So where is the rest of the money coming from? BJP social media platforms will eat up more money than the 3,500 crores. Okay, so the discussion that electoral bonds are, bringing out transparency or burying the electoral process has nothing to do. Earlier, political parties were supposed to disclose the name of the donor if the amount is more than 20,000. Okay, so what people used to do is create hundreds of receipts in the name of 200, 300, 400 like this. So 50 to 60% of the donations for any political party used to come from unknown sources. Okay, so then they smartly have reduced the number to 2,000 rupees. So what did political parties do? Did they find genuine donors? No. Instead of saying 6,000 rupees, 5,000 rupee donations, now they started saying 300 rupees, 400 rupee donation. The number of receipts have increased. So anything below 2,000 can still be from unknown sources. Okay. So just remember, the ultimate concept is reform has to come from integrity. Reform has to come from the thought process. Reform has to come from the change. BJP is in that position where it can literally, bring the change. It can announce all the donors suo moto without any external pressure, and other political parties will be forced to follow the footsteps of BJP. Because let's imagine there is a company, a dummy company, XYZ is a dummy company, ABC is like BJP. Okay, ABC is doing all the shady deals. It is occupying land of others. It is, doing subpar works, etc., etc. If such a company is giving money to BJP, okay, then tomorrow it became public that XYZ company gave to ABC or BJP or Congress or whatever. That is not good for that particular party also, right? So being transparent, at least in the basic book level, will only help the political parties gain more strength. And there is also one line in the article which says political parties, sorry, political parties technically are not coming under RTI, they don't have an obligations. But if you think about it, political parties get a huge amount of subsidies from the governments, both state and center. They get free airtime, they don't pay proper taxes, they have a lot of advantages. They get a land in the prime areas for offices and all those things. So taxpayer money is definitely going in the maintenance of the political parties. So at least in basic book level or basic amount level, political parties should suo motoli disclose them, and it should become an ethics case study. If BJP is disclosing, then Congress will be forced to disclose. Like this, if every party is disclosing, I think the system will change from internally, right? Okay. Sorry. Next. The entire discussion of the bad banks has brought out the discussion about non-performing assets. So all of you know the technical definitions of what is non-performing asset and all. I'm not going to enter into that. Now, so today morning, we all came to know that SBI has got all the permissions from the RBI to go for the creation of bad bank, that is National Asset Reconstruction Company Limited. One prelims question you have to remember is, what is the source which act empowers the state to create a bad bank? Which act empowers? Okay, so the answer is SURFACE Act. SURFACE Act empowers the state to create asset reconstruction companies. So just for understanding sake, we will learn three concepts, that is writing off. What is writing off? That means in the balance sheet of the bank, I have given 10,000 crores. I haven't received 10,000 crores. So this does not exist. So when I talent my balance sheet, everything else being normal, here it is supposed to get 0, but here it will be minus 10,000. The balance sheet is not tallying. Then what will banks do? Banks will write off. Write off means they will consider it as never given. So if something is not given, automatically something is not in losses. So in this way, 0 by 0, balance sheet of the bank is tallied. So the bank is very happy that its balance sheet is tallied. This is called as writing off. This is the favorite tool of many banks. Lakhs and lakhs of crores have been written off by the Indian banks in the recent times. And as all of you know, non-performing assets are very higher in public sector banks. In public sector banks, the NPAs are very high. So now, in bad banks case, what will happen? NARCL will purchase the bad loan. At X percentage. Let's assume NARCL will think that out of the 10,000 crores, let's say out of the 10,000 rupees, 30% can be salvaged. Okay, so the bad bank will say to the original bank, I will get this amount back. Okay, you sell me this asset, right? So 30 percentage. Out of this, immediately bad bank has to pay 15% of the amount. Out of the 3,000 rupees, 15%, that is 450 rupees have to be given as a cash by bad bank to whom? Let's say SBI. So SBI has given a loan of how much? 10,000 crores. That loan has gone bad. It is not going to come back. Now SBI sold this for 30% to bad bank. Bad bank will give 15% cash and the remaining 85% as bonds to State Bank of India. In the long run, let's imagine that bad bank has actually recovered the 10,000 crores. Bad bank will do a lot of service to the society, or at least now 450 rupees is coming back to SBI. So instead of 10,000 rupees loss, at least 450 rupees is coming back into the economy. That will help rotate the money. That is the purpose of bad bank. Okay. So that is a major theme of the bad bank. It's not a miracle. It's not even a logical solution, because insolvency and bankruptcy code was much more beneficial to the country rather than anything else. Unfortunately, due to COVID pandemic, that has been blocked time and again by Supreme Court in multiple ways. So earlier also we had IBC, this act, SURFACE Act. This empowers the creation of bad bank. Remember, securitization and reconstruction of financial assets. This act empowers the creation of bad bank. Prelims question. Okay. So don't go too much into technical details, at least for bad bank. Basic concept of understanding of how bad bank works will be enough. If you haven't understood, I will share the PDF, read it twice. Automatically it will make more sense. So, now, there is also one more article or one more follow-up news item, that is increase in the crude oil prices. Most of you know that Brent crude oil has reached $90. People are expecting it to touch $125. So $125 of Brent crude oil. Earlier also UPSC have asked whether Brent crude oil, West Texas Intermediate or sweet crude, yes or no. What makes them crude? Is sulfur very high in them? So crude oil is always an important topic for UPSC. So what are the prelims questions that we can expect in the things? So first question is, if petrol prices increase, if the crude oil price increase, automatically petrol and diesel prices will increase, right? So is inflation going to increase? Right? So the first obvious question is inflation going to increase? If yes, then will current account deficit increase. Okay. Next, third point. Will rupee get weaker? Will rupee get weaker? If your answers to all these questions are yes or no, you should also know why these questions are being asked. Because if petrol prices increase, the movement of goods and service will increase, the cost will increase, so automatically inflation will increase. So it's given. Rupee will get weaker because everybody needs more dollars. So even foreign exchange reserves will be diminished. Rupee will get weaker. Okay. What else will happen if petrol prices increase? What else will happen if the petrol prices increases? What are the logical outcomes? See, economy is all about application, right? Why is there a rise in demand for a dollar when oil prices increase? Let's imagine this is Indian companies. We are exporting, we are importing oil. When we import oil, okay, oil is coming into India, dollars are going out of India. So oil is coming in, dollar is going out. Earlier, I used to pay $60. Now I have to pay $100 or $120. So there is an extra demand for dollar. Okay, so when dollar demand is there, demand and supply, if you remember, if dollar's demand is high, automatically supply of rupee will increase. So rupee's value is diminished and dollar's value is increased. Everybody needs dollar, so dollar's demand will increase. So automatically it will lead to weaker rupee. Simple chapter in Ramesing, if you remember that conversion, rupee conversion concept, the same logic applies. I hope that clarifies your doubt. Oil is coming in, dollar has to go out, dollar oil price increased, so more dollars will go out. More dollars means weaker rupee. So in 2014, the present government's advantage was there is a huge amount of fall in oil prices. When oil prices have fallen down, government did not reduce the taxes. Government kept on the status quo or increased the tax rates. Because of this, governments were able to make a huge amount of revenue. As you can see, from $1.3 trillion to 3.72 trillion rupees. So 3.7 trillion rupees have been made by the governments when oil prices were falling, when oil prices have fallen. Okay. So that is a major thing. Now, if government keeps the taxes high or status quo and oil prices will also increase, it will literally be a burden on the common man. Common man will be severely affected. So it's not very far off for us to see where petrol is equal to 120 rupees per liter. If petrol is costly, if diesel is costly, automatically day-to-day goods will become costly. When when day-to-day goods become very costly, everything will become costly. Inflation will increase, which is not good scenario for economy. Okay. So it's going to be a very tough line for the government to walk because elections are about to happen. No government will be willing to increase the petrol prices. But again, petrol prices increase or decrease is not in the hand of the government. It is decided by the oil marketing companies. So please go through the PDF. It will it will help you understand what is electoral bonds, what are non-performing assets, right? At the same time, why we are having this discussion now, you will understand. And same time, NPS will increase. Okay. So I have earlier also shared a PDF about Central Asian republics with map. If you don't remember it, you can let me know. It also have maps about North-South corridor, Tapi pipeline. Yes, what are Central Asian republics? So there is nothing new in this particular article. The only thing is China and Pakistan have a lot of leverage in the Central Asian republics. So does Russia. India does not have same kind of leverage. It's high time that we follow up the Central Asian republics. So if you don't follow up with the Central Asian republics, it is going to be one more headache for India. Now that anyhow we have started the infrastructure and investments, we should keep on continuing the infrastructure and investments because it's a win-win scenario for all the stakeholders involved. This is a very important article for PSIR students. If you are following this news, Russia and India are combinedly developing a missile, and that technology is now being transferred, or that missile is being transferred to Philippines. So if you see the 9-dash line, or if you remember the 9-dash line, which is an immediate neighbor to China. Okay, Philippines is a country which went to international court against China for the special economic zones, exclusive economic zone issues. Okay, such a country is now acquiring a missile from India. Okay, so things are going to be very, very interesting now because Taiwan is going to be a hotbed. Philippines might also provoke some issue, right? We will see how China will respond. Okay, so just keep an eye. There are some missile regimes like Wassenaar Arrangement, MTCR, Nuclear Supplier Group. So normally India would not be in a position to supply these kind of weapons to any other countries, but we have signed a particular deal, and because of this we are able to sell the missiles to Philippines. What is the deal? Any idea? So that is also a prelims question. So please focus on MTCR basics. Missile technology, what regime? Control regime. Those who wrote prelims 2020 are those who have seen the prelims 2020 paper, right? So there is a concept called as ACE2. Okay, what UPSC have smartly done is they have asked a simple question. ACE2 is recently seen in the news related to what? Okay,